hello. I am here with
Henrik.
And Joaquin.
yes of the Jealous Fork.
Correct.
Okay, so I have some questions, about like the whole restaurant scene, about your story of the Jealous Fork itself. I know you guys started as a food truck. Maybe we can start there.
Sure. You want to pick up the
Yeah.
beginning of Jealous Fork?
Well, you can tell the start, and I can tell the food truck part of it.
Oh, well, so the start is we've been friends for probably now like 18 years.
What?
We met over like our love for sports. And before we opened this place, we had been traveling all over the world on guys' trips and just really enjoying being friends. And everywhere we'd go and travel to, we'd always like Google and Yelp and look up like best breakfast, best pancakes, best brunch. And so without knowing it, we're doing like 15 years of like research in the industry without really knowing it. That's the beginning of the friendship part.
Yeah, and then we have another business together, and as that was settling in with the staff, we got some spare time, and we were doing research at home, different type of food, but pancake in particular. And Joaquin was posting on his social media, and we got some amazing feedback on people that's loving what we were putting out. So one day, I think it was Craigslist, eBay,
Craigslist,
one of the two.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's a food truck, and it has the perfect layout for our pancake concept. And we end up ending up seeing the truck the same day or the day after, and a week later, we were the proud owner of a food truck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that the food truck itself went with a lot of popularity. Let's talk about that. Like, what areas did you guys put your food truck in? How popular was it?
So we had our own take on starting a food truck. A lot of food trucks they travel around, and it's like
Right.
food truck circle. We wanted to approach it differently, so we went for a permanent spot, and we were very fortunate to find a spot inside a park here in Kendall, public park, with beautiful outside seating, kind of like lush nature, and we wanted to make ourselves more a destination than a traveling food truck.
Right.
I don't know if you want to add to that.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. You always pass. You do your
Yeah.
job. You're good.
We opened in October of 2019,
Oh, wow.
just before COVID, and so we kind of like just got our feet underneath us, and then COVID happened, we had to shut down, and so we pivoted like most entrepreneurs did or had to do during COVID,
Right.
and we went to start delivering the pancake batter raw in quart containers in the back of a big fishing cooler. And that's kind of what got us through COVID. And then when we came out of COVID, we really didn't know like what was going on with COVID, but we knew that outside was better than inside. And so that lent itself to the growth of the food truck. And so in 2021, we just skyrocketed in popularity. And we were doing something that the country had never seen before. There was no such thing as a pancake food truck in the state of Florida, or in the country actually. So that was something that really kind of put us on the map because we were doing something so unique. In addition to adding that the pancakes that we were doing, a few of them were savory. And so no one had ever seen, like a chicken and black bean salsa and chipotle crema pancake. No one had ever seen a burger that had pancakes as the top and bottom bun. And so that was something that really set us apart. And we got popular because of doing something so weird and out of the box.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you about the pancakes. I've been to Jealous Fork a few amount of times, and I've also been to your pop up of your burgers. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and
So I think I've tasted both, and I can really say it's quite an experience to have both of them.
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of like now, not that I'm talking about 2019, but now within Miami, there's more of like the big fluffy pancakes. What are your comments within your competition? You don't have to say their names, just.
If you want to take the fluffy pancake question, you want me to take that one?
Well, there's definitely a lot of different takes. I think a lot of those fluffy pancakes you're referring to are those
Yes.
Japanese style pancakes,
Yes.
which our pancake is way different.
Right.
Our pancake take about 20 minutes to cook, and when we were creating them, we actually went through 25 different recipes, and we were looking for something that could kind of carry both sweet and savory. So even though we have this thick, fluffy pancakes, they have some texture to it. So they balance very well between the two, the sweet or the savory side of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We did try the fluffy Japanese at one point. Then it was jiggling.
Yeah, the problem that I'm not a big fan of the
Right.
I think they look great online. They look
Yes.
cool. The influencers love them. But
Mhm.
when you go to eat a fluffy pancake, it's a lot like eating cotton candy. It looks amazing, then you take a bite of it and it's kind of like disappears in your mouth. And so when we were to add, our pork or our chicken or our whipped creams onto it, they would just collapse. So you need a vessel to carry all those ingredients. It has a little more like oomph to it,
Makes sense.
It's like if I give you a bowling ball and I say you get to either carry this bowling ball 100 yards in a pillowcase or a Home Depot bucket. The Home Depot bucket has more weight,
Sturdiness.
to it, and so that's one of the reasons why we didn't go the route of the souffle pancakes. Is that
Oh.
it just wouldn't have held all the ingredients and textures that we put on our pancake.
That makes so much sense. And how do you guys, like as a business, navigate through the whole influencer scene? Like, do you guys get influencers to come to your restaurant? Do you do the old school route of just letting people word of mouth? Like, what is your approach on that? Especially within Miami, that is so fast paced, and now it's becoming the new hub of influencers and all of this stuff.
If
You wanna take that one?
No.
It's a deep question. It's a deep question.
Well, I guess we're from the very beginning having a very unique concept. We were fortunate to have a lot of influencers come and approach us naturally. So we actually had to turn down quite a bit of them because there was so many. And we also have this philosophy that we want people to come to our restaurant to eat because they think we have a cool concept or have good food. We do see a lot of influencers wanting to reach out just to make a quick buck. They
Or
don't
free
really,
food.
yeah, or free food, yeah, without really caring too much about what the concept really is.
Right.
So obviously, there's a balance there. There's great power in influencers, and
Right.
we've seen that. But yeah, there's a balance there. I think that's
It's a
important.
balance. I agree. How do you feel about like people that do the old school route of like the Anthony Bourdain, like, oh, I kind of just came here because I really like food and I want to talk to people like that old school way. How do you guys feel about that?
That's your alley.
I don't see much of that anymore.
Right?
I think that we consume content at such a fast rate
Yes.
that we aren't like Anthony Bourdain. I don't know what demographic your viewers are, but I would argue that most people under the age of 30 probably have never even heard of Anthony Bourdain.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe, but I think that we are consuming content so fast now that we don't have the attention span for depth. I think that you want to scroll through TikTok or Instagram. You want to see the influencer that's showing you, you got to try this, you got to eat this, you need to go here, and then you're on to the next scroll. So when you're talking about Anthony Bourdain style, you're talking about long format.
Yes.
You're talking about depth of conversation, character development. Like you're talking about getting into great conversations and finding out who people are and telling stories. Tell me an influencer that does that.
Well, I want to say me. No,
Okay,
just
let's
kidding.
go. Let's go.
But more than anything, I don't know if you've heard of Underbelly magazine.
Of course.
So Swan.
Yeah, there.
Swan
okay.
is a storyteller. She's
Yeah,
very much
yeah,
inspired by Anthony Bourdain. So I want to say
Yeah.
there are those people out there, but maybe they're doing it
To
in a
every
different
one
format.
of those, there's probably 500 of the complete opposite of that. But yes.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay.
But
So-
I do like Underbelly. She's super raw.
Yes.
Yeah, super raw.
I actually got to do a little coverage with Sojo's Dojo, so it kind of gives you
Okay.
the scope
Yeah.
of where I'm really focusing this
Yeah.
podcast and everything in. With that being said, what other within the whole community? Because this is West Kendall. I just want to confirm, right? West Kendall. I grew up.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, how do you guys connect to other businesses? What is your collaboration like with other businesses in the area, or do you guys go out of West Kendall to, kind of reach out, branch out, like, hey, you do this and I do this, so let's do this together, collab.
I would say we were heavier on the collaboration in the food truck. We have less of that in the restaurant. It might just be because our menu expanded. We have so many more ideas to explore and put out there. In the food truck, we were limited, so we had to kind of play around more with the pancakes. I don't know if you have another take on that, but
No, you hit the nail on the head. But just generally speaking, I think that we might have done 2 collaborations since we opened over
Okay.
2 years ago here in the restaurant.
Okay.
And I mean like with other businesses, not influencers. Like
Right.
with
We're
other
talking
businesses.
business.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think that I really don't know the area, like to tell you that there are other small, independent, kind of made from scratch, really care about attention to detail businesses that we have seen
Right.
that we work with.
Right.
And I don't know if we haven't reached out, to be honest with you. Like we had one ice cream place reach out to us, and that never transformed into anything.
Yeah.
But other than that, we just haven't had a lot of opportunity to do the collaborations. But I don't know if if I'm being really honest, I don't know if we've sought out that either.
Right.
No.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I think you're looking for someone that kind of matches you and I guess like the vision and quality, and so we do one every year, which is Knott's Berry Farm.
Okay, I did see that. Knott's Berry Farm, shout
that's a
out to
big
them.
one, and so we definitely see kind of like a mutual, like they're interested in promoting us and we're interested in promoting them, and they're known, they have a big name and a quality that we can also stand behind. So I think that's also an important part in collaboration.
Yeah. But at the same time, with the same token, you also have a lot of people fluctuating into Miami. Not just, the Brickell, the Coral Gables, the Coconut Grove. They're trickling down to Kendall. Could this change?
We have a tremendous amount of tourism here. Like every day we have tourists from all over the world come in, and I'm shocked because we're not in the cool part of town.
Yeah.
And we'll have people who, like, just last week we had people that were staying at the Nobu Hotel in Miami Beach. They're visiting from London. They Ubered $60 Uber out here, ate, and then Ubered $60 back to the beach because they looked up best brunch in Miami, best breakfast in Miami, and we popped up, number one on their search.
Congratulations.
Thank you. For us,
Sorry.
it's not like we aren't. We're just trying to be true to ourselves.
That is so
We're
good.
not trying to make the flashiest food. We're not trying to give a Michelin star service. We're just being true to Jealous Fork.
The Jealous
And if
Fork.
that
I
brings
respect
us
that.
awards, great. If that brings people from other countries, great. If that brings us families from next door, great.
Wow.
The money is the same color.
I get that. And I also, thinking in that aspect, you guys are on a website where you're in the top in the country.
Fifth. Yeah,
Fifth.
Travel and Leisure
Yes.
magazine.
Yeah, isn't that so cool that people look you up in that way to find you and boom, you're here. So congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
Now, more questions focused about Jealous Fork. Is there any things that you want to touch about, like the foundation of finding Jealous Fork? Like, how did it come about? What inspired it? The impact of Miami in what you have as a business.
Jump on that one.
Well, our food doesn't have any specific origin or Miami. Neither of us are from Miami.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
So we get inspiration from all over, and we don't want to like pigeonhole the food to a country or a region. We do serve. We call ourselves New American Cuisine, but we get that question all the time. Like, where is this inspiration come
from? Is this
from?
Norwegian?
Yeah.
No, they're like, where are you from? Like, but is this? No, it's not.
So
that
people
either.
really question you when you're like, you're not really from here. Is that the vibe you get from the Miami locals?
I think that we choose where to dine based on country. Like, what do you want? Italian, Mexican, Chinese, and so we're kind of in a box of like, choose what you want to eat based on the country of that style of food.
Right.
So they come here and they're like, what country food is this? And they'll maybe read about us, and he's from Norway. Like,
so is it Norwegian
what is
pancakes?
Norwegian pancakes. And I'm like, that's not really how it works.
No.
But that's just because that's what the normal diner does.
Yeah.
And in the future of Jealous Fork, what do you guys see in the future of Jealous Fork? Do you guys want to branch out? Do you want to just continue your consistency with your audience? What is your goal?
Well, we when we stepped from the food truck into the restaurant, we were very fortunate. But this place is small for us. We kind of outgrown in this space, so we have more on our mind in terms of both concept and idea that we would like to build on. So we're looking to get our second restaurant, and it will be more west in Miami. No west.
No,
east.
I mean the Everglades. more serving alligator.
More east. And we're hoping sometime this year, end of this year.
Wow, that's incredible. Such a big like food truck. Boom, this space. This space is nice because people love free parking, you know? I'm one of those people. But not only that, but you were looking to go more east. What is inspiring to go more east?
Well, you know, this is West Kendall, so it's not the center of Miami.
Right.
You know, in the bigger picture of growing in Dallas Fork, we would love to open 3, 4 of these, and maybe looking to kind of branching or
Different locations.
yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
So we kind of forced to go east, but it was also more to reach a bigger audience. You
And
know,
what
we
led
always
you
talk about
to-
how small we think we are in my sense of Miami. We're
What
more
led you to choose Kendall exactly? Like what?
well, we both live in the Kendall area,
Ah.
and we started our food truck here, so that's where our core following.
That makes sense. Because I know there's been like line out the door for the food truck from what I've seen on your Instagram and everything. So it shows that the loyalty to your follower instead of switching it up.
Correct. I mean, our food truck was 15 minutes from here, and so if we were to open up 45 minutes away from where our food truck was, all of that like kind of good faith that we built for 2 years in the food truck would have been gone.
Right.
Now we're not that far, so you know, opening up in Kendall made the most sense because the loyalty had already been there, the connections were already there.
Right.
I mean, it would have been great if we were like, hey, let's open up in Aventura, but all of that hard work done for 2.5 years, that Kendall crowd is not most likely
Right.
every day or every weekend going to drive up to Aventura.
That's
Doesn't mean
true.
we couldn't build a whole new demographic up there, but this just it fell
Yeah.
into place that way.
So as you guys that you've lived in Miami, to put it into context, there's a lot of people that are not big fans of like driving around. Let's say I live very south. I live in Cutler Bay. I don't mind driving up all the way north or wherever. There's some people that live in a specific part of Miami and they
You're allergic to
refuse,
driving.
refuse
Miami
to
Beach
go. Yes. So that's very interesting that you say maybe have some different locations, and start building those demographics there that maybe have traveled already over here, because it's so good. It is.
Yeah, we always get the question, "Oh, when are you going to open up in Pembroke Pines? Or when are you going to open up in?" We get that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely felt that we had a little period where we had the food truck in Alapata. That was Alapata, yeah, super.
Design district area.
We definitely noticed, and that was kind of like when we were building our following. We definitely noticed the distance and the people.
Oh yeah,
that were
demographic change.
yeah, the people that were like regular had a harder time coming out. So
That makes sense.
so I think in building a business and building, especially in, I think like a big city like Miami, even though it takes 30 minutes to go to downtown or South Beach, it's still such a huge city.
Yes.
And we're very small in the scope of things.
I even want to say that locals in Miami, don't even like the fact that like Brickell or Coconut Grove or Coral Gables are its own thing. They like kind of don't want to consider the whole county. Miami-Dade County is a whole county. I'm sure you guys like know that, as running a business, you know that. But some people are like, no, I only consider Miami the beach, Brickell, and Coconut Grove. But they don't really consider all of Miami-Dade. Miami-Dade is very special. From Florida City all the way to like Miami Lakes, and all the way to here to West Kendall. I mean, we're really a big county. We've got a lot to cover. So yeah.
I think there's twofold there, right? The first
Yes.
first thing is to your initial point, which was free parking, right? Some of those other cities you named, they don't offer free parking, and so that's a huge plus. And the second thing is if you comb through the, let's say, top 20 food influencers in Miami, how often are they featuring those other areas?
Very often.
If those are the people driving traffic, how many people are actually featuring West Kendall restaurants compared to Brickell restaurants? How many people are actually featuring Doral restaurants as opposed to Miami Beach restaurants?
But we also see that in more commercial outlets or like news outlets that best brunch in Miami, which we think we should be part of on the list, but maybe because we're not in the hip area, we are left out.
That is also a tricky thing with business. But because you have a good, solid, audience coming into here, it builds that rapport. That makes sense. We'll get to the conclusion now. So any shout outs that you guys want to do? Anything you want to like mention for the future, people to like look out for?
I don't know, I think stay tuned for our expansion and
Okay.
the next restaurant. I think that's very excited. And I don't know, no special shout outs from my end, but
No,
thank you, Mom.
thank my mom. No, I'll thank you. I'll shout you out. I think that this has been an amazing journey. It's been over 5 years now, and there's no way that I think I could have done it on my own.
Oh, finding good partners is
Yeah, it's amazing to not only be able to be successful and grow a business with a good business partner, but also with a friend. And I think that's a pretty special thing. We have plenty of heated conversations, and we have also plenty of great laughs. We have a bottle of tequila and Irish whiskey in the office, and when we're done with shifts, we had to pickleback shots with our staff last week, and so I think that there's something really special about having a great business partner and a great friend that are in the same exact kind of flowing successful business. And so shout out to you.
That's amazing. That's amazing to, you guys have that connection as business partners, friends, and the successful will keep coming. Not that you're not, it's like already here, but like
Thank
way up there. So congratulations. And thank you so much for doing this. Like, I'm a
course.
small creator. I don't have the big numbers. I don't have all any of
Not
that.
yet. Don't give up.
Manifesting.
Don't give up.
But I genuinely like the whole aesthetic of like old school talking to people, a conversation.
100%.
Really understanding where the food comes from, similar to Swan. Big credit to her on those themes. And yeah, so thank you again.
Of course. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
thinking of us. Thank you guys.
Let